record on the computer. So in terms of just some updates, keep in mind that yes, we're launching in the UK almost 1 month from today. So it's like 1 month in like 3 or 4 days. But there are still so many people that need to be helped in the US and Canada. So my personal goal for this month is to hit Success Club 12, which is like my no matter what goal, and then switch to just building connections in the UK. I'm not even inviting them to anything yet. I'm going to start inviting October 1st to like a free group or something, but really just expanding my network in the UK and building connections over there. And I'm actually speaking at Super Saturday in Rochester all about how to find people in the UK. So when I have my presentation done, I'll share that with you guys, just to give you guys, I think I have 4 different ways all on Instagram of how I've been expanding my network the past few months in the UK. So I'll share all of that with you. Leads right into the next subject of Super Saturday or Super Sunday. Make sure you guys are registered. As you know, 99% of what we do is all online. So it's really fun to go to these live events and actually witness like other coaches interacting and working out and all of that. So if you've never been to one, get to one. There's not intimidating at all if you're worried about that. I actually dragged my twin sister to the first one, and it was this tiny little event outside of Boston. I think 15 people total showed up. But that was still one of my favorites because I remember being so like empowered by the end of it. So get to one near you. It's in your online office under news and training, and then events. I think that's how it goes. So check it out. I know that there's one in Rochester, which is the one that I'm on the market council for, but you guys are all over the US and Canada, so take a look. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, so I'm going to go on to our speaker. I think most of you guys know Kari. I've been like bragging on you all week in my team page, Kari. So if they didn't know you before, they know you now. She is part of the Lux Republic. Raina is her upline coach. She's a star diamond and has just been crushing it in her business. And she's going to share lots of tips with you guys today. But as I shared earlier, the main theme is don't treat your business like a Tinder date. So take it away, Kari.
Hey guys, like she said, I am Kari Kallweit. I am part of the Lux Republic. I'm going to talk to you about longevity in your business. And I feel like I can talk about that because I started 2.5 years ago and have not missed a single month of Success Club. So I am Success Club legend. I'm super excited about that. And I think that it comes down to really focusing on long term. And when I was thinking about when Sam asked me to talk, like what I really enjoy talking about is talking about treating your business like a marriage. And I was like, how can I turn that into something fun? And of course, Tinder, which I got married before Tinder was like a thing. So I have single friends that are like, oh, swipe left, swipe right. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but this looks really fun. So I'm going to kind of talk about longevity in the business and tips in the business. And I'm going to relate it back to treating it like a marriage as opposed to a one-stop shop Tinder date. So I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about me. I got started with Beachbody, like I said, coaching about 2.5 years ago. About 3 years ago, my husband and I, we had lived downtown for a while in Springfield, Missouri, which is a huge college town. So we were out eating and drinking and probably had too many Taco Tuesdays with margaritas and just, you know, that happy bliss when you get married. Some people do anyway. We were like, first of all, I don't cook. So I was like, lasagna, like hamburger helper. I don't know what I'm doing as a wife. Like, let's go out to eat. Let's have drinks. That's way more fun. And so as continuing to do that, I continued to add weight on my health. You know, I have history of high cholesterol. That started kind of getting out of whack. And so I started watching Raina, because she actually went to middle school with Colby, my husband, and she was posting about insanity and a test group that was coming out. And I was like, ooh, test group sounds kind of fun. And I didn't want to go to the gym because #pants are optional when you work out at home. And so I was like, I want to do these home workouts. Like, I want to get back to like feeling comfortable in my body, like putting a swimsuit on in the summer. And I saw a photo of myself from Labor Day. Like at the end of November, my friend had posted our Labor Day photos, and I was like, oh my gosh, is that what I look like? And not because I looked terrible, but how I felt was showing how I looked. You know, I wore cover-ups the whole time. When I finally did take my cover-up off is because I was had been drinking PBR probably most of the day. And I was like feeling, great about myself. And all these photos started popping up and I'm like, untag, 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 delete, untag. Like, how could you possibly think that I would be okay posting that? So that led to me messaging my husband on Facebook one day. And I was like, I want to do this insanity that Raina's doing. And he was like, yeah, no. He's like, you're not doing that. You can just come to the gym with me and like, I make my own pre-workout. He was like making his own pre-workout at the time because my husband is super about saving money. And he's like, we're not doing Shakeology, whatever. And I was like, okay, fine. So a couple weeks go by, she posts again. And I'm like, I want to do this. And he's like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. And so finally, like the first week of December, I was like, we started talking about Christmas presents. And I was like, do not buy me anything unless it's a challenge pack, because that is what I want to do for me, because that will make me happy. So when Sam talks about with you guys, like follow up, like I was one of those people that just had to wait until Christmas to ask for it as a gift. So like Christmas, Mother's Day, I share that story all the time because I literally got a challenge pack for Christmas. Like Insanity Max 30, it was like $210. I got just the DVDs and one round of Shakeology for Christmas. So of course, long story short, I started Insanity Max 30. He started it with me. We fell in love with Shakeology. I stopped having to take my digestive medication. And exactly, got you for your birthday. I'm telling you what, those birthdays and those big holidays, it's like challenge packs, hand them out. But so we did a full round of Insanity Max 30. I was hooked. I was loving the way I felt. I stopped having to take my digestive medication because, of course, Shakeology superfoods are life. And in February, I was like, okay, Raina, like, I see you're making money. Like, I think I could share this with a couple people and at least get my Shakeology paid for. And she was like, cool, here's a 30-day new coach group, and I'll talk to you in 30 days. I was like, cool, and so I just like did what she told me to do. And my first month I hit Success Club 8. I was an Emerald coach, and I was like, this is a business. This is a business. Like, I just signed up to own a business. And I've had that mindset from the very beginning that this is a business. It's not, whether you're doing it as a side hustle or a hobby or just getting your Shakeology paid for, it's still a business. It's not hop in, hop out, do it comfortably, or you're not going to see the results you're looking for. And so that's kind of just my backstory. Like I said, that was almost 3 years ago now. And after I think 8.5 months, I started matching my RN income in December. So January of 2016, I went full-time coach and have been doing it ever since. And I still get fired up about coaching. I get fired up about talking about coaching, about challenge groups, about Shakeology. Like, this business, I'm one of those people that's obsessed, and I'm always happy when I talk about it because it's changed my freaking life. And so that's why I want to talk to you guys a little bit about why we cannot treat our businesses like dates or something that's kind of short term, because that's what it will end up like. So I'm actually going to share my screen. I've got a little PowerPoint here to show you guys that I made, just to kind of help me kind of stay on track with my tips, because I get kind of chatty, as you can tell, I'm sure. I'm as extroverted as they come. So first and foremost, I'm going to be talking about don't treat your business like a Tinder date. And I'm in full disclosure, I obviously have never been on Tinder, but I know I have single friends that are on Tinder, and actually some of our close friends that Colby works with actually met on Tinder and they're married. So full disclosure, this is just a comparison of a short, dating site or dating meetup, hookup, whatever you want to call it, in reference. So bear with me on that. I've obviously told you a little bit about myself. I, was an ICU nurse full-time, and now I do lifestyle coaching through Beachbody. So I'm going to be talking about commitments in your business, and I'm going to give you guys kind of 10 tips of how to not treat this like a Tinder date and treat it more like a marriage or a full-time commitment. So my first tip that I have is there are going to be many fish in the sea, but you're in a committed relationship. So when it comes to network marketing, there are hundreds out there. There's other health and fitness companies, there's, shampoo, there's businesses. I mean, it's everywhere. There's a lot of fish in the sea. And if we spend our time wondering what someone else is doing, it's only hindering our business. And I say that because I'm sure you guys have all heard the term, the grass isn't always greener. And I think that is so vital when it comes to your business. It's not about finding out what everyone else is doing. It's about watering your own grass. If you're putting your time and energy and focus into your committed relationship, what does it matter that there's other fish out there if you're happy in the one you're in? And I think that's so important when it comes to full commitment and thinking long-term in your business. Because if you're constantly worried about what other people are doing, or you're constantly worried about what's new or what's changing and things like that, and you're not focused on where you're happy and what, your purpose and passion in this business, if you're worried about other people, then your energy is going to go there. And you're wasting your time doing that. Just like in Tinder, when you're like, swipe, 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 like I want to see the next thing, the next best thing. That's just wasting your time. You're not investing in learning about one person and growing in that one person. Same with obviously, being in a marriage. You want to stay in that committed relationship and you want that relationship to be successful. So constantly, seeking out other things that draw your attention isn't going to be helpful in a marriage. The second thing that when it comes to commitment in this business and is taking daily actions. So Tinder, from my understanding, is a one-stop shop. You go in, you pick someone, you go on a date. It goes great, cool. It doesn't go great, you go back to swiping. There's not any daily actions. There's not any investment that you have to make in these dates. And that is the opposite of this business. It's constant daily deposits of sharing your story and making connections and truly adding value on your page and to other people. So going back to building those relationships. So when I talk about daily actions, these are the things I'm meaning, the vital behaviors. And I know you guys have heard that 1,000 times, but it's it. Like, you want the secret? Daily actions. Like, that's the secret to this business. So posting, inviting, obviously your Shakeology and your workouts. And one thing that I feel like that sometimes we lose sight of if we're, a newer coach, or we feel like we don't have, someone to recognize, someone hasn't posted their before and afters in your challenge group in a while, or, you don't have a coach on your team that has done something that week to recognize. Like, there are thousands of people on your team. Your team, your upline's team, your upline's team, thousands of people that have goals that they're hitting, in not only in their fitness, but in their business. Pick one, like, make friends with someone that has a really awesome transformation that you think is inspiring, whether they're on your team or not, and be like, hey girl, your stuff is freaking awesome. Can I share it? Can I tell your story? Because constant recognition in this business, especially on social media, is so important because people want to see that it's real people and not just stock photos, or not just like, hey, beach body, beach body, beach body. Like, share someone's before and afters. Share someone's financial transformation when starting a business. Like, recognition to me is one of probably the top two in your vital behaviors, because it allows people on your social media to see what we're doing is working. And not only just for you, but for other people, that they can see those results. And so I think recognition is so important. And I'm so glad that they added this to the vital behaviors, because I enjoy recognizing people. I mean, I enjoy telling people that someone has lost 70 pounds and never stepped foot in the gym. Like, I love telling people that, Sam does this business full time after working at GE. Like, hello, that's freaking awesome. And I think we should do more recognition. So if you guys are posting your workouts and posting your Shakeology and inviting, and you feel like maybe something's missing, try recognizing more transformations, whether that's physical, mental, financial. Like, start recognizing more, and I think you'll get more interaction. And I think you're going to get more people that's like, hey, I saw you post that girl's transformation. Like, what's she doing? What program is she doing? Or what's this business that you just posted about from your friend? Like, I feel like I get the most interaction when I'm sharing other people's successes, not just mine, but my team's teams. So I think that that's huge when it comes to recognition. So as far as your daily actions, obviously your vital behaviors, because that is long-term commitment in your business. 3, don't be partial exposure. Have an open door honesty. And this is kind of separated into 2. So open door policy, you're obviously not going to have on a Tinder date. Like, you're not going to sit down with your Tinder date and be like, I love my dog more than I love my family, and I go to bed at 9 p.m. and I sometimes don't wash my hair for 5 days. Like, you're not just going to sit down and like be open and honest about who you really are on your first Tinder date, or if at all. So having the open door policy in your business is vital. And I mean this as, if you're struggling, talk to your upline. If you're struggling in your workouts, talk to your upline, talk to your success partner, talk to someone in the Lux Republic that you've never met before that just wants to like lend an ear. Like, you have to be open and honest about this business, because like I said, it is a business which is going to have ups and downs. And if you are struggling, you have to lean in and not lean out. Because just like in a committed relationship, you're going to go through trials and you're going to go through times where you struggle, and having that support system and leaning into that is going to be so much better for you and for your business. Also, have an open door policy and honesty in your social media. Like, if you're just posting every single ab workout, like every single picture of your abs and every single picture of your perfect workout and your perfect shake, and you never go through like life struggles, people aren't going to be relatable to you. So for example, this picture that I have here, like it's literally the same, like it's a 10-second transformation. It's like, hey, I have 2 abs because that's all my body seems to find. And then I have like 3 rolls. I'm short, I have rolls when I sit down, no matter what size I am. And having that vulnerability and that transparency in your business is going to make you more relatable, and it's also going to make you more trustworthy. Like I said, Tinder date, you're not going to sit down and be like, hi, I'm a perfect life and I work out like 2 hours every day and I'm super fit and I eat clean all the time. Because that's not real. It might work on Tinder, but it definitely doesn't work on your business. It doesn't work in your business. You have to have that open door honesty. Also, like I said, really diving in when life hits you hard, because the second you announce you have goals, whether it's a Success Club goal, whether it's a rank advancement goal, whether it's an income goal, the second you say it out loud, something is going to happen. I guarantee it. For example, my husband was like, I'm going to go live for 365 days starting today. And I'm like, cool. So the next day, we literally were so busy. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, say you're going to go live. Like, that's just the second you announce your goal, something's going to happen. And I think that allows us to find growth in the journey. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4, now this one I thought was really fun because I didn't even really know what these words meant until yesterday. So no ghosting or haunting in your business, because this is a thing now. So ghosting is where, if you guys don't know, I'm going to explain it to you because I didn't know. Ghosting is where like you date someone a couple times, you go on a couple dates, and then you like literally don't talk to them, which I guess happens now where people are like in long-term relationships and then they just like up and leave and never speak to them again. And then haunting, also new term, is where you like show up in a relationship, go on a couple dates, and then like ghost them, but then stay in their social media. So you're still watching their Instagram, you're still watching their Snapchat, you're still like interested, but you're still like not being involved. How many people have known like a coach or had someone on their team that has done this haunting, where they're like, hey, I'm all in. They literally post every single day for 3 weeks and then they're just gone. But they're still watching your Snapchat. Like, wait, what? So you cannot be doing this in your business, you guys. You have to show up every single day, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever's going on, you have to be present. And you can't, when it comes to commitment and long-term and longevity in this business, you can't do this haunting thing. You can't show up, not post for 3 days, and then still watch your upline's Instagram, because she's going to call you out and say, hey, what are you doing? I can see you're on social media. Why are you not sharing your journey? Why are you not working your business? Why are you not being present for people to see your journey? So when it comes to longevity, you can't be ghosting. You can't just like show up a little bit and then not show up a little bit and expect to have good results, expect to do this business full time. You can't show up full time and then be, watching in the background on your team page, because we can see who sees those posts. We can see who's watching our social media. And expect your business to take off. Expect your business to last long term. You have to have the commitment of being there every single day, just like you would in a committed relationship. If it's hard, talk to somebody. Lean into that. If it's stressful, let's find you a new way to fit it in your day. But the second that you pull back, when you get off social media and you don't show up for team calls and you start pulling back, it's a lot easier to fall off than if you're in it and you're like, I'm a Success Club Zero and it's the 15th of the month, but I'm here and I'm going to figure it out. It's a lot easier to stay committed to your business there than it is not posting for 3 days and be like, well, I'm a Success Club Zero on the 15th, so I'm probably not going to hit this month, and I just don't know if this is for me. And it's so much easier to fall off when you're back here than when you're leaning in when things are hard. So no ghosting, no haunting. Tip number 5, let me get my little notes here. Talk about your plans from a year from now. So back to Tinder. You're not going to sit down with your Tinder date and say, so I want to have 3 dogs and I want to get married on September 15th in 2018. And you're going to wear a tuxedo with a bow tie and my mom's going to be there and my dad's going to walk me down the aisle. And you're like, no one does that. If you do, they're going to be like, bye. They're going to ghost you. So you have to, in commitment and longevity in this business, you have to talk about long-term. You have to talk about where you want your business to be in a year, where you want to be in a year personally, and where you want your team to be in a year. Because setting long-term goals gives you something to focus on. And I'm sure Sam has talked about like putting your goals up on a board in front of you, making those vision boards, telling your upline what your goals are, telling corporate what your goals are a year from now, because that is commitment in your business. That is what keeps you pushing in the hard times when you're, stressing in September because you have a goal in December. You're still going to work in September. But if you don't have a goal for the end of the year, you're like, I'll just let September slip by. So talking about your plans from a year from now and not treating it like a Tinder date and just showing up when it's convenient. You have to talk about your long-term plans. And I'm sure Sam has talked about that before, about like, where are you going to be in a year? Like, are you jumping into this business and treating it like a business? Where are you going to be in a year? Because if you're treating it like a business, you're going to have a plan for that. And if you don't, it's really easy to make one. You say, hey, Sam, I want to make a plan from a year from now. And just get plugged in. Like I said, lean in. 6, don't decide at first glance. So the swiping thing on Tinder, you like get to literally pick someone by how they look. And I think sometimes we do this as coaches when it comes to reaching out. We're like, oh, they do CrossFit. They wouldn't want to coach. Oh, she's, wearing a energy patch, she's not going to want to do it. Like, we decide for them, and we've got to stop doing that because we're treating it like it's a quick fix, and we're treating it like it's a quick decision, and we're making that decision for them. I got off a call with Sydney from corporate a couple weeks ago, and she said that her friend was a Beachbody coach, and before she started working for corporate, her friend never approached her about it, and she's like, I'm pretty fit. I'm present on social media. Like, I could have been a great coach and I would have loved the network marketing opportunity, but she never said anything to me about it. And so Sydney went back and asked her, like, why didn't you ever ask me if I wanted to do this with you or thought that I would be good at this? And she's like, well, I just figured you were already fit. Like, you didn't need to do this. And she's like, you made that decision for me. Like, that wasn't your decision to make. Like, she never invited her to the opportunity. She never reached out. She never built a connection with someone that was her friend doing Beachbody, because that coach had already made the decision for Sydney. This wasn't for her. And I think sometimes we treat our business by first glance. We'll scroll through their social media and they're doing something different, or, they're lifting weights in the gym or whatever. Like, we still can build a relationship with them. And this may be the perfect opportunity. Maybe they hate going to the gym. Maybe they hate doing CrossFit, with their friend, or they're only going for the community. Hello, we have one of those. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't decide on first glance who could be a potential coach and making that decision for them. We have to build those relationships anyways. So I've got just a few more tips and then I'll be done, I promise. So 7 is don't decide only on looks. So this goes back to impressions. And so we can't, on the flip side of what I was just saying, we can't decide like, hey, this person's posting all this really cool stuff and I think they'd be a great coach. Hey girl, I think you'd be a great coach. Cool, send. Like, we've got to build that relationship. When it comes to commitment in this business and when it comes to longevity for you and for your team, building that relationship is vital. So we can't just decide on looks to send cold messages and invites. The relationship has to come first. Like, when in a committed relationship, like, I'm still going to love Colby even though he wears a man bun now sometimes, Like, I can't just make that decision on looks. So we've got to make sure we're building that relationship first. Even though their page looks awesome, we still need to reach out and connect with them on another level besides Beachbody. So finding that common ground. With Sam, you do an amazing job on this, on reaching out on Instagram and building those relationships, whether about it's Panera soup or coffee or kombucha, like really diving into those common grounds before before offering up that invite of them being a potential coach. So setting weekly expectations up front. So this is a little different than making out yearly plans. This is when you're setting up new coaches or new challengers. So getting them set up with expectations from the beginning. Like, back to Tinder, you're not going to sit down and say, okay, you're going to call me on Friday and you're going to pick me up and we're going to go to the movies. And then on Saturday, you're going to meet my family. And then like, they would be like, bye. Like, you're crazy. But in your business and something you want to commit to long-term, you have to set expectations up from the beginning. So whether it's a new coach and you're making that phone call or making that email that's like, okay, have you watched, your new coach information? What questions do you have? Let's talk about Success Club. What is the date of your first challenge group? And also what I've been doing with my new coaches is asking them, what personal development book are you starting? When do you want to have that personal development book finished by? So I can follow up with them on their goals. I think as a mentor and as a coach, sometimes we, get in the habit of, okay, well, when do you want to rank advance? And when do you want to hit Success Club? And we also need to focus on personal development and setting expectations and dates for these things. So if it is hitting Success Club, okay, if you're going to hit Success Club, by what day? So I can follow up with you on your goal. You're going to read a personal development book? I highly recommend Unf Yourself, because it's amazing. And I was like, I'm going to have this book read by the end of September. Like September 30th, that book is going to be done. Because setting dates makes things attainable and makes things actionable. So having actionable items and setting those expectations up front when it comes to new coaches and challengers. Like, my challengers know once a week, they're going to get a message from me saying, how can I support you this week? What can I help you with? And if they stop responding, then they get one every 2 weeks, and then they get one every month. I have some challengers that have like 8 messages from me, and then they'll be like, oh my gosh, fine, like, let's talk. I really need to get plugged back in, because I'm consistent and I've set that expectation up front. When they sign up with me, I say, okay, I'm going to check in with you weekly, and I want to know what your goals are. Is it a pair of pants? Is it a number on the scale? Is it, a swimsuit? Like, what is an expectation for you that you can fulfill, that I can follow up with you on a specific date? That is how longevity happens in this business, is making those short-term commitments and having those dates set. And 9 and 10 kind of go hand in hand. So I think sometimes, so number 9, it is about you. So I think going back to personal development, we get caught up in other people's goals. And on a Tinder date, you sit and you listen to someone else talk about themselves forever and like hear all about them. And when it comes to longevity and it comes to commitment, just like in a marriage, it has to be about both, 50-50. Probably in this business, more you than them. And I know we get set up like, you have to focus on your challengers and you have to find new coaches and you have to mentor your new coaches. But like, I listened to a call a couple of days ago, and it was like 80% needs to be you and 20% needs to be your business. Because if you're not growing and you're not enjoying the journey of your personal growth, it's not going to be fun to tell someone else to do it. And so make sure that you're plugged into personal development. Make sure you have access to, Audible or podcasts or books, like whatever is your vibe. Like if you're not an Audible person and you keep starting books and not finishing them, you should probably switch to something else. Or if you're buy all these books and you don't read them, it's not helping you. Like, listen to it on Audible. Try 10 minutes, try 15 minutes. But your personal growth is so important in this business, because that is going to make what's going to help make this last long term. It is about you. And I know also with Tinder too, people sometimes jump on Tinder because they get pressure from their family or their mom or, siblings or whatever. They're like, oh, you're still single. Like, you should try Tinder to like meet somebody. And 9 times out of 10, people don't meet people on Tinder, but I just happen to know someone that did. But you get pressure from society. Like, for me, being 28, if I were to be single, it's like, oh, if you haven't found a boyfriend yet, you found a spouse, when is that commitment going to happen? Because we get pressure from society that like, that's the way of life. You get married, you go to college, you get a job, and like, you get married, you have kids, and like, that's it. And that can be a lot of pressure for society. And so people jump on Tinder to do something that's not for them. And so when it comes to making this business about you, if you are getting pressure from family or a spouse or social media that you are in a pyramid scheme, or you're not successful enough, or you're spending too much time doing your business, like, does it make you happy? Like, shouldn't you get to decide if you want to do this business or not? Shouldn't you get to decide if you want to spend your extra time building a business and having extra income and working on yourself? So just don't forget, you guys, we get one life. And I think you should do in that life what makes you happy. And I know that's hard. And that goes back to like leaning in when you have those struggles of not support, but like it is about you. Like you jumped into this business for you, you know, to make income, for you to help people, for you to build a business as a business owner. Like that's for you. And I don't want you guys to lose sight of that, because the second you start doing it for other people, one, it's not going to be fun anymore. And two, it's not going to last. So make sure you're focused on doing this business for you because it makes you happy. And then lastly is you are enough. And so with this one, sometimes for me, I struggle with comparison, and I struggle with, well, this coach is making more, and this coach, you know, hit diamond in 2 weeks. Like when I signed up, it took me like 5 months to hit diamond, and the girl that signed up at the same time with me hit it in 2 weeks. And so I was like, Sam, you know what I'm talking about. I was like, cool. I'll just sit over here, you know, with my like one coach that's like my husband, you know. I'm like, cool, you know, I'm doing really great at this. That girl just popped diamond in like 2 weeks. But it's not a reflection of your self-worth. You are enough. And what you put into this business, you're going to get out. And you are enough if you focus on your fitness journey. You are enough if you just want to focus on personal development. Like you can't focus on the people around you, and you can't focus on comparison, because that goes back to, you've got to protect your energy. When you surround yourself with negative energy, wondering what they're doing or wonder what they're doing, or watching like 15 minutes of someone's like, why I love Beachbody video, like that does not protect my energy at all. And I know that I'm enough in this business, and what this business does for me is enough for me. And that's, you know, what I want you guys to think about is where you fall as far as what makes you happy. Because wherever you're at in this business can be enough for you. And I think that's so important when it comes to longevity in this business. If you got to figure out what makes you happy and where you fall as far as your commitment to this business. So I think that wraps it up. I'm literally sweating. I get so wound up and I'm like, oh, Beachbody, and I'm like, and I'm sweating. So here's just the last couple tips. Be you. You have an incredible story. No one else can tell that story but you. And I think that goes back to commitment in this business and being open and honest, having that open door policy. I just realized I've been like looking over at the corner of the screen and not at the actual camera this entire time. But you have an incredible story, and you're the only person that can tell that story, and it has to come from you. So make sure that you're not, you know, constantly sharing someone else's text and invites and things like that, because they're going to hear their voice and not yours. If your methods aren't working, change your methods, not your goals. So if you aren't hitting Success Club, or you aren't recruiting enough, or you aren't, you know, you're not hitting the goals that you'd set, change the methods that you're doing to get there and not your goals. Don't lower your goals to match what you're doing, like increase what you're doing to match your goals. And use positive talk. So this is something that we've talked about in the confidence challenge, which I think is really important, because I have a tendency to lean towards the negative side of things sometimes. And I'm so thankful for personal development, because it has really helped me in this area. So for example, using positive talk, I know there are 3 people out there that I'm going to change their life this month with my help, instead of I've got to find 3 people and I don't know if I can. So using that positive self-talk, knowing that you can do it, and putting out there that you're going to change 3 people's lives this month, as opposed to like, I've got to find 3 people and it's stressing me out. So really using that positive self-talk will help you with the longevity in this business. So that is my talk on how to not run your business like a Tinder date. And I hope it provided a little bit for you guys.
I loved it. And especially just going off with the last thing, the positive talk. Last month I was doing this thing. I got the idea from Gretchen where it was kind of, I guess, like a positive affirmation, where she was saying, there are tons of people out there that are looking for my help through Beachbody, and they're ready and willing to invest in themselves right now. And so I was saying that long thing, like anytime I was in the car, I'd say it 3 times. Anytime I was just like sitting at my desk and I'm like, crap, what should I be doing right now? I would say it. And the first day that I did it, I probably said it 7 times, and somebody out of the blue messaged me and signed up that day. So it's crazy just like how that mental shift can impact you and your business and all of that.
100%. And they put stuff out in the universe, man. Like I fully 100% believe that. You put out positive, you get positive back.
Yeah. So true. I mean, all the tips you shared, I love. My favorite was don't decide for someone else because I've never heard a story of that happening. It seemed like Sharon, is that her name?
Sydney.
Sydney.
Blonde? Yeah.
Like she was actually offended, and I like felt sad when you were sharing that story.
I know.
I'm gonna feel that way.
Yeah, because she can't coach now because she works through Beachbody. She's like, I wish someone would have told me about like Beachbody and like network marketing. Like, why did no one invite me? And I was just like, you're right. Like, I just was also mind blown by that story too, because it's I am fully not capable, but I'm guilty of doing that.
Mhm.
Being like, oh, they wouldn't want this, or oh, they're probably doing something else, or they have a successful blog, like, they're not going to want to do this, and that could be exactly what they need. And sometimes I feel like we do that, and I'm trying to do better about not just being like building that relationship and then reaching out about the coaching opportunity.
I love it. So what do you guys think? Do you have any questions for Kari? Let me go through the comments. Oh, Carly says perfect timing for it too.
Thank you, Carly.
Any questions?
I just gave them all the answers.
Yeah. That's it.
Also, I apologize if any of you are on Tinder.
Oh,
sorry.
Gretchen's on Tinder, I think.
Is she?
Yeah. But it's pressure. Like, she hates being on it. One of your tips was like, don't do it if it's not for you. And yeah, she's like, my parents are like, when are you going to settle down? And she's like going on all these days. So everything you said, I'm like, yeah, she's been ghosted or she's done the ghosting. I've never heard of haunting though. That was a new one.
It's a new thing apparently, because I was like, I typed in Tinder. Of course, it was like, download Tinder. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Cole's going to be like, why do you have Tinder on your phone? But yeah, I guess haunting's like the new, like, BuzzFeed just did an article on it. It's like worse because they still interact on your social media, but they like don't respond to your texts. I guess it's a thing.
Yeah, I've totally had challengers and coaches do that now that you mention it.
Yep. So don't be one of those people. We're going to be like, are you haunting me?
Sure.
No haunting.
You've ghosted. Not on your business though, right, Kate?
Oh, in dating.
In dating, not coaching.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions or questions in general, thank you, Kari. I mean, honestly, that you did amazing. I loved that presentation. I got a lot out of it, so I know that everybody else did too.
Thank you so much for having me, for sure.
Yeah, of course. And thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your day to hop on, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye, guys.